Joe Biden has a new way to screw you over, and it's all in the name of equity. If you're saving up to buy a new home, the president is going to make you pay for someone else's too. His administration is rolling out a new plan that punishes people who have good credit. In many cases, they will now have to pay $40 more per month in order to subsidize loans for higher-risk borrowers. Industry experts warn it will backfire. One says, quote, it's going to be a challenge trying to explain to somebody that says, quote, I worked my whole life for a high credit score and I put a lot of money down, and now you're telling me that's a negative? That's a hard conversation to have. Okay, Joey, I heard you saying that you're just buying a new home. And in the last mortgage crisis, mortgages were given to people who couldn't afford them. I think that was in 2008. How did that work out for us?
Well, in 2008, a lot of people were buying houses to put renters in them. So they weren't buying them to live in. I think the difference now is people are trying to find somewhere to live. There is a housing problem. There is a places to live problem. Geraldo and I were talking about the VA loan program going in or during the commercial break, and there's an interesting aspect there. You don't have to pay a down payment. You usually get a good interest rate, maybe not the best, but the process is way more stringent, and that's a benefit you earn. So rather than penalizing everyone who's worked hard to have good credit, literally taking money from them, why not create programs similar to that for people that can earn it? If it's teachers or doctors or nurses, maybe you can take care of a lot of these middle-class people that have had to rack up credit card debt but are paying their bills by simply providing a program that maybe the banks even take some of the risk rather than the taxpayer and the federal government, with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac buying up every loan.
Well, the bottom line, Dana, is that they're punishing responsible homeowners in an effort to bring in new buyers who don't have a credit score to get a loan on their own. And, it kind of smacks of socialism to me.
I said, how are these new rules not anything other than socialism?
Yeah.
And from 2008, I was the press secretary then. I still have the tire marks on my back, trying to explain what a credit default swap was. And it's really hard to believe that this is happening again.
Yeah.
Because if you think about Obama and Biden when they were in the White House as president and vice president, what's the first thing they did every day is they got up and they had to blame George W. Bush for the mortgage crisis. The mortgage crisis, one of the reasons is because you had people who were not ready or not able to have the expensive homes that they were in. They couldn't pay the rate, and then all of it came crashing down. So I feel like Biden could write this book of how to stoke populist anger and lose re-election. Because what came out of the mortgage crisis? The Tea Party. After the Tea Party, what did you have? Then Donald Trump comes on the scene and it's like, wait a second, and he's speaking to people the way that they feel. And I think that this is a similar thing on the student loan crisis. The White House blows it off. The numbers are very clear. I think it's one of the reasons his poll numbers aren't that great. They don't actually attack any problem to solve it. They just paper over it with more regulations. This one was sneaky, very sneaky. All of a sudden this is happening. People are going to be very angry about it. It's not that you haven't heard the end of it.
How do you think this is going to impact the overall economy that's in a mess that 69% of Americans think is a mess?
I don't know if it's going to have that big an impact on the overall economy, but I do think that it harkens back to the student loan, the inequity, the sense that I paid mine back, you're not going to pay yours back, it's unfair. And I think that a lot of people, given the fact that you are rewarded for a low credit score and you penalized for a good credit, it's kind of like putting the world ass backwards in a sense, excuse my language. But it just, I don't like it, and it's not a lot of money. And it's just enough money to annoy you. If you have a $400,000 mortgage, which is a very substantial house, for most working and middle-class people, so it's $40 on top of your payment, $40 a month.
A month,
I mean,
yeah.
I
well,
think
that's for now.
It's annoying. I don't think it helps Joe Biden. I'm not sure it will help the prospective homeowners. It was a catastrophe in 2008.
Right.
These subprime mortgages given to people who put no money down. My dad always used to say, and he got the GI Bill, and so we had a $10,000 house. But he always used to say that you have to put money down to feel a sense of investment, of being part of something wonderful and American. And without any money down, without that kind of responsibility, I'm not sure this is a very good idea.
You know, I've even read some articles, Greg, that talk about it may go up to $100 a month on that $400,000 mortgage. So the question is, do you get to count the people that your money is going towards to help them as dependents?
That would be good. That'd be good. If you do the math right now, it's $500 a year, 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Let me do my equal $15,000 over the course of the loan. So if you go to 100, then you're talking probably more, 30,000. I'm just, that was math.
I like that.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I mean, the thing is, I mean, it is $40. That's still like a good cheap dinner for your mom and dad at Applebee's. But also, I mean, that's how the government does it. They nickel and dime you.
Yeah.
They open the door a little, and then they start pushing it. Pretty soon it's $100, then it's $200.
The amount doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's a principle of it.
Yeah, principle. Very good.
Also, nobody complained about Biden. The rates went from 3 to 6 under his administration.
it's
like,
terrible.
talk about that.
But the bigger thing right now, what are we going to do about the corporate real estate?
Yeah,
These
it
cities are like San Francisco, 40% empty corporate.
Yep.
And so the thing is, I mean, it's like I remember when people were moving from New York to Florida, and you had de Blasio and these other people were saying, good luck, good riddance, we don't need you. We don't need you. This is bad. I mean, if this is your tax base, nobody's going to be renting these giant buildings. And who's going to get nailed? The banks who made these loans.
Which means what?
Which means we are.
Bailout.
Yeah. We're in.
It's a
But a lot of them are going to be converted to residences. A lot of the offices.
It's not easy to do that.
But the thing is, what person is going to want to move to a place that's
Yeah.
dangerous?
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah, nobody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.